Had some fun with Dave yesterday. You got to see a lot of it. What'd you see?
Well, as I mentioned, I think the overwhelming positive was Rick Woolen. I mean, he just jumped out. And I love the way that Jim talked about that is a deceleration. I always have said change of direction, right? Always talk about like Julio Jones, the receiver, was so unique in that way because he could change direction like a little guy. Marvin Harrison Jr., who the Seahawks are going to have to deal with for a long time in the division. And what a matchup that is going to be with Woolen. Does the same thing. He's got a little shorter legs, so he can cut and get in and out and accelerate and decelerate in ways that just longer levered guys can't. And you think about some of the failed longer levered corners the Seahawks had tried post Richard Sherman, and that stands out. Yeah, they can't get in and out. They can't slow themselves down when they do all that acceleration. I mean, Woolen just straight humbled a dude yesterday that he stopped on his route. And I don't think I've seen that in a one-on-one. Like it was a kind of a hitch and go and a comeback, and it was like hitch and go, and he's right in his pocket, and then he's running, and he's right in his pocket, and he's like, screw it, I'm not even going to cut out of this. Like this guy just put me in.
He gave up on the route?
Totally gave up on the route.
He gave up.
He just gave up. Like he just,
okay, we're good here.
All right, you got me here. I got no chance against that thing. So I hope I don't have to face many of those. I hope there aren't many humans like that.
Wow.
And there are not. And you do not see that very much. He was absolutely putting on a show yesterday. If I were to say to you, Salk, if you were to put your list together of the top 10 Seahawks who may or may not have the most challenges going to, I don't know, 87 and 85 humidity. And as Brady Henderson texted me, it's like a sauna / steam room. Like, I don't even know what this is out here. And I were to say to you, which Seahawks do you think on paper would have the biggest challenge jumping into that kind of heat and humidity? I think you'd figure out pretty quickly your right guard would probably be the one that would struggle the most.
Yeah, that doesn't surprise me.
And the longer the practice went on, Anthony Bradford had a tough day. So, this is why you do these practices. This is why you play in these environments. This is why Mike McDonald, you could feel his giddiness after practice. He loved the product on the field and the way they competed, but even more, like this is better than a game. It's better than a preseason game as far as these moments and getting through this adversity and getting through these competitions with this personnel. And he's going up against an all-pro in Simmons, and how does he stack up and how does he fare? And definitely the longer the practice went on, the struggles grew a little bit more. I would say Spoon in one-on-one, not his best day. And I think a fair amount of frustration by the end of that 7-minute period where it didn't matter if it was inside or outside. He just could not shut down and lock down guys like his buddy Rick Woolen did. And let's be clear, one-on-ones are built for receivers. Like if you can't win one-on-one as a receiver, you can't play in this league.
Right.
And the best one-on-one guys like Jackson and Tyler and DK, like, yeah, good luck. Right? I mean,
what does the defensive player get out of that then? If it's really not something they're supposed to win, what are they supposed to be able to do? How do you judge a defensive player in an offensive drill like that?
Yeah, I mean, you want to still be tight. You want to every step has got to be efficient. Right? You still want to try to be hip to hip as much as you can be. And you know that some of these routes with double moves or they're going to take a little bit more time, or certainly the guys in the slot that have all go, they can go left, they can go right, they can stop, they can go down the seam, and you don't have any help. You don't have any leverage help, any safety help, right? Any linebacker help. So you are truly in the slot. I mean, it's almost impossible to cover guys. And and Spoon had a tough one. And then the last one is, just kind of a continuation of what we saw this weekend, Salk. It's a continuation of what we have seen at times in the spring. And that is the what ended up being the number 2 defensive player drafted in this draft is really the number 1 defensive player as far as skill set and what he's doing inside. And that would be Byron Murphy, who just couldn't really be blocked in one-on-ones. You got a chance here. Christian Haynes and the guys got a chance because they feel him. They get a sense for him. They get that quickness and maybe a little bit of fatigue at practice out here or whatever. But you crank it up there. You're in full pads. You're in the heat and humidity that he's used to growing up in DeSoto, playing in Texas. Like, all right, it's go time. And I get to go feast on these guys, and that's not a good Tennessee O-line. Let me go put on a show. And by all accounts, dude, once again, continued what he did over the weekend and put on a show.